How's it going, everybody? My name is still, of course, TheyHateZoar, and I am back. Yes, I know, I've been on a bit of a hiatus, but it's okay. I'm back with a vengeance. As always, today we're going to be talking, or really starting about talking about what I've been really trying to wrestle with the last month in my hiatus, and that was having to deal with like the propaganda against vigilantism. For one, people misunderstanding that there are technically legal versions and variations of vigilante justice, but like at the same time it's completely unethical and it's actually illegal, and it's like, okay, are we just not allowing self-defense anymore now? Like, are we not allowed to stop a crime from befalling ourselves? We're not even allowed to engage in that vigilante justice? So I've been trying to figure out where all this first off this misinformation comes from and how to kind of counteract it. So I went back to one of the worst offenders of this propaganda, or at least the ones that are quote misquoted the most, The Dark Knight. This movie is responsible for so much fucking mischaracterization of like Batman, of vigilantism. You either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the fucking villain. Shit, I'm 20 years in, I'm still waiting to become a villain myself. Shit, fucking, I must be a fucking world record at this point, if that's really how it is. But like, despite the fact that's only applicable to like 2 comic book characters that I know out of hundreds who it doesn't apply to, that's been set in a lot of people's mind as the standard, as the rule for vigilantes, even vigilante heroes. And I can't really pinpoint where it all starts from, because not even The Dark Knight, maybe it is just these lines, and they only remember the line, and they don't remember the context around it, because I found myself committing this same mistake. A couple weeks back, or God, a month now, in the Superhero 101 video, I talked about the Dark Knight movie, and I talked about the context of it. I had not realized in that moment that I had barely remembered the actual ending of that movie. So couple weeks back, actually, I rewatched that movie again, since I was a kid, the first time I saw it when it came out, and realized I must have did what everybody else did, and turned my brain off when I heard Batman, and I thought Jim was the one who said the die hero, live long enough to see yourself become the villain line. No, it wasn't him. It was Batman himself. And I remember remembering hearing that line and then getting into my head and thinking about it, and I think I just stopped paying attention to the rest of the context of this entire scene, because the whole reason he says that is not in context of himself, but is of Harvey Dent and his legacy as the prosecutor that they put all of their faith and hope into in order to rebuild the justice system in Gotham City. I actually fucking love the ending of this movie. However, it still gets plenty of things wrong with the whole I'm not a hero, or he's not a hero, he's a Dark Knight fucking kind of a thing they say, as he's literally selflessly giving up his legacy as his untarnished legacy as Batman to take on the killings of these people so Harvey's legacy doesn't get stained and people don't lose faith that there's still hope for the justice system. But he's not a hero, don't worry about it. This is why I say this movie is the worst fucking offender of, like, anti-vigilante fucking propaganda. And, like, where a lot of people's misinformation about vigilantism comes from is from movies like this, where it's like, well, we have to be realistic about Batman. And it's like, it depends on how much he cared or didn't care. If he was more like you guys, he's probably on the fucking right path. But if he's more like me, he'd probably more be like a fictional version compared to you guys. Or at least you would think so. You know, like with me having the no killing rule. Most people think that's an unrealistic thing. It's not. And even in this fucking video that we're gonna get into, I know this is a very long intro, I'm very sorry, I'm known for this if you're new to the channel. That's why I put a timestamp for you to skip earlier in this video if you didn't want to watch this lengthy intro. But we'll be getting into that, and how even people like LegalEagle, whether by mistake or willfully, whatever, following the script was written for him, kind of also gives off anti-vigilante propaganda in a very negative way, and paints Batman in this video particularly worse than he actually is. And maybe legally, he might be in the right, But as I've said here on the channel before, vigilante heroes do not draw the line at legally speaking, they draw it at morally speaking. This is why, even in the cases of like slavery, people were breaking the law to help free slaves or help them at least escape via the Underground Railroad, or whether they were breaking them out and gunning people down like John Brown, to these two different varying degrees, which would be an example of like the heroes in the Underground Railroad to the anti-hero that is John Brown. You guys just have this bad habit of just calling them all like completely unethical and bad, but also they're morally right. And you make the same mistakes in modern day that you did with them back in the day. If you don't know about, the John Brown's fucking song that they wrote about him during the Civil War, they tried him for a traitor while they were the guilty crew, referencing how the states trialed him for all the cases of murder and freeing all the slaves, and basically called him an insurrectionist and put him to death. They have always kind of did this with vigilante stuff, mainly because of, like I said just earlier, vigilantes uphold morality above legality. And when it's the rich and powerful setting what is legal, and that's what we have to think is moral, it can really be whatever the rich people want it to be, which at the time was slavery. And right now, it's not looking too good for us either in the United States, if you're wondering why I'm going to be going off this summer particularly. Mainly because YouTube videos get a lot more views during the summertime. Don't worry about it. Oh yeah, we're playing the algorithm now, boys. I'm done fucking holding back. I'm done not playing out and just fucking cheesing this shit. I'm going hard, okay? We got motherfuckers like the superhero community out here, like Skyline milking it. I'm milking it too, okay? Now, without further ado, let's get into this LegalEagle video. Before I do, disclaimer, LegalEagle, if you're watching this video, I'm still a fan of you. I still love your content. I still think you're net positive to society in educating people on law and what is and is not legal or illegal, whatever. I'm going to agree with you mostly in this video, but there are some things I will disagree with you on. Please do not think I personally hate you or think you are a bad person. Nobody go harass LegalEagle for this. He might have just not even watched the full movie and only was shown clips of the movie. By the way, I read this or watch this video, it kind of feels that way. So if you see him missing a lot of the context and kind of just saying random shit that we might disagree with in the vigilante superhero fan community, this is why. He's basically obligated to uphold the legally speaking side of things, which for the most part he's absolutely in the right for. A lot of what Batman does is completely illegal, mainly because he's the extreme side of vigilante justice, because there is no justice system in Gotham City, which is literally what this fucking movie is about, which coincidentally LegalEagle never brings up or mentions in this video, which is the main focus of what we're going to be talking about, reacting to it.
Hey LegalEagles, it's time to think like a lawyer. Welcome back to Laws Broken, where an attorney destroys your favorite childhood movies by showing you how illegal everything is. Because everything is illegal. This week we're going to examine The Dark Knight, and we're finally going to answer the question, can Batman use the self-defense justification? Can you trust me?
First off, right off the gate, I realize I'm playing this on 2x speed. I apologize. We're just going to go 1x. 0.5. I can't deal with the 2x. It's too fast for me. But first off, right out the gate, he kind of starts off with like a false bit of premise here. As you may have heard me say previously in videos, we very rarely dance into self-defense arguments in vigilantism. We are almost always in the realm of defense and necessity. Again, a term that I thought I learned from this video specifically, but he also doesn't mention the defense and necessity at all in this video. He mentions, however, how you can use deadly force to stop a robbery, but you can't be a vigilante. It's like, what? Also, punching somebody is deadly force, apparently. I will get to it. It's just a whole lot. Oh, it's so fucking much LegalEagle that is like, and the real common misunderstanding he's coming from here is that he's a New York lawyer, he'll say in a minute here, and he's thinking of this based off law and standards in New York. This video is 7 years old, so it's slightly probably changed or different now in New York, but at the time, just know he's like sticking to that standard. That's just his job. Don't, no hate for him for doing that, all right? He's not a bad person, he's just doing his job.
Do you trust him? Of course you can trust me. I'm an attorney. As most
I do not trust you. I'm just kidding. I do trust you. It's why I take a lot of your videos and your content into heart, and I learned a lot of stuff about law from watching your guys' content. I love your fucking channel. I highly recommend watching LegalEagle. Their stuff is mostly great. It's just, when it comes to like some stuff like this, especially his earlier work, it might have been a bit more just thrown together, just whatever we gotta do to get views at the time. Probably wasn't as much due diligence, because I've heard him talk about defense of necessity, and I know he understands this, and I know that he knows that there are some forms of vigilantism that is technically legal. Vigilante justice at the very least via defense, self-defense, defense of necessity, property defense if your state allows it. These are acts of upholding the law, or preventing a crime, or preventing a harm from befalling you because you didn't have time to call the cops. You only had a few seconds to act. Understandable. That's basic self-defense. But that is also definitionally taking the law into your own hand without cops there, without legal authority, because they just weren't there at the time or available at the time. So definitionally, that is a vigilante. Definitionally, that is vigilante justice. So this idea that vigilantism, which he says in this video, is illegal, Batman's level of vigilantism is illegal. Vigilantism, not fully illegal. Just Batman's extreme variation of it, as he does go fairly far because he has to due to the lack of justice system in Gotham City that is properly functioning. They're all taking the bribe, they're all on the take. If you're a Batman fan, you know this is the whole part of Batman's origin story. The crime was so bad, the Wayne family tried to stand against it, which is what got them killed, which is Batman's origin story. So if you're missing that basic level context of Batman, there you go. It's a big part of the reason why he is what he is today, and being Batman. It's all connected, okay? He didn't just start doing Batman because his parents were randomly murdered in the fucking place where murder never happens. No, dozens of murders were happening at night, and they were deliberately trying to stand against the other richest families in Gotham to clean up the streets of Gotham, and that's what got them plotted against and killed.
people know the Batman stories take place in the fictional city of Gotham, but as everyone recognizes, Gotham is just a stand-in for New York City, and since I am licensed to practice
in the very vague sense that it's a city on the East Coast, it could just be Seattle as well, technically, but it's more loosely based off of New York, yes. Based vaguely on that it's a city on the coast, okay? That's the connection there. Population's probably about the same. Their governing styles would probably not even remotely the same modern day. Like I said, there is no justice system in Gotham City, so I don't even know if anything like applicable here is going to be happening. It depends on which point in the timeline of Gotham we're talking about.
The state of New York, I'm going to be using New York law for the most part to talk about the various crimes of the Joker and Batman. So
we'll keep that in mind for the rest of this video. He's doing this through the lens of New York law, not Gotham law. It just, again, doesn't exist. This is why Harvey Dent was the last hope of the movie, which again is context missing out of this video, but that's fine. I'm here to add context. Or add the context, sorry, misspoke there.
Be sure to subscribe and comment in the form of an objection, which I'll either sustain or overrule, and stick around until the end.
I will object a lot in this video. Again, nothing personal.
The video where I give a verdict for how long the Joker and Batman are both going to jail.
First off, I just want to point out, because I saw this earlier, this comment here, absolutely, wait, where is it, where, there it is. Objection, Bruce Wayne is rich. Rich people do not go to jail in America. First off, that's in our justice system, let alone Gotham City's justice system, which is daily taking the bribes from the mobs and the other organized criminals who are fucking literally coming to Gotham to commit crime en masse. Chances are Bruce was never going to spend a day in prison, actually, like, unironically. If y'all ain't going after Trump, they ain't prosecuting Bruce. Bruce is literally the lifeline of the economy of Gotham City through Wayne Technologies. He's the last corporation left willing to work in Gotham. You think they're gonna put him in prison and take away his company, their last lifeline for their economy? No. Bruce has got him by the fucking balls and has every right to do whatever the fuck he wants in Gotham. He owns it. Literally and metaphorically. Owns it. bro has enough money to own the moon. You don't think he could just... He does own a lot of the Gotham City, I'm pretty sure, because between all the Wayne buildings and Wayne warehouses, Wayne Technology, like, conglomerates, and other pocket shadow companies that he owns, he probably owns, like, at least half of Gotham City. Legitimately. So if any of these places were like being broken into or robbed or some shit, he would even be covered under property defense for a lot of the stuff he does, actually. Maybe not breaking into the residence of the drug dealers, but if like people were robbing a random warehouse and that warehouse just happens to be owned by a company that's owned by Bruce Wayne, I mean, Batman ultimately would be justified in like intervening there because it is technically his property. I'm just saying, legally speaking, you could make a case for that. You might have to set some new precedent, but hell, nowadays we need some new precedent.
So, let's examine the evidence.
In more than one way.
All right, so we have your standard garden variety breaking and entering and criminal trespass onto the building of a bank.
Absolutely. Also, dope shot. Delicious. I fucking love that shit. For as much of these movies 100% glorify crime and all this other shit, they do a great job of making it entertaining. I will give them that.
Guys on the roof. Every guy gets a share. 5 shares is plenty.
6 shares. Don't forget the guy playing the job.
He thinks he can sit it out and still take a slice. I know why they call him the Joker.
Okay, so these bad guys have
Yeah, they call him a Joker for a reason. Because he makes jokes. Thus the name Joker.
helpfully explained that they are all engaged in a criminal conspiracy to rob a bank. As members of a conspiracy, assuming that the Pinkerton Doctrine applies, all of the members of the conspiracy, including the Joker, are on the hook for all of the criminal acts of their co-conspirators. So I'm going to impute all of the bank robbers' bad acts to the Joker himself.
God forbid if you applied this logic in the real world. Ha ha! Where we would be post J6 now. This video was pre J6, by the way, so forgive him if he's missing the irony in the video. This was 2019 when this video came out. It was a different time. We had yet to like live through that. Okay, so leave it, you know, I'll add that context in. I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh. This guy's about to shit talk my people while theirs is like drowning right now. Don't mean to be mean. It is poetically ironic.
That's funny, it didn't dial out to 911. I was trying to reach a private number. Is it a problem? No, I'm done here.
And that's just straight up murder. But because all of these bank robbers are engaged in
Yes, again, straight up murder. Also, I just want to make a quick note. How fucking much of a fucking supervillain genius Joker actually is. He literally got all these guys to kill each other so he could keep all of the shares of the money just to later burn it in front of the guy who wanted it. As much as a psycho motherfucker this guy is, nobody can ever accuse him of being a moron. This guy is a fucking evil genius. He is like up there with Lex Luthor, and like he gets very downplayed in some variations of him. Of like, oh no, he's just doing it because it's off the whim. It's like, no, sometimes this guy can be super like, just almost at like Bruce's level of fucking contingencies and fucking, he is like the perfect counter to the Batman. I mean, he's specifically designed to be. That's just how these characters are usually, and how writers want their villains to be the perfect opposite. He's supposed to be, you know, the chaos that Bruce's justice, right? But God, it's so fucking crazy. He's actually able to convince each one of these guys individually to do that. And they actually follow through with it. That's the crazy part. But I want to say we'd never see that in real life, but honestly, in this world, we might just, it's possible, I'd say. Highly improbable, probably possible. Much like me.
conspiracy to conduct an inherently dangerous crime. That's armed robbery with guns and bombs and grenades. All of those co-conspirators are likely on the hook for the murder of this person under the felony murder rule. But on top of that, the felony murder rule would apply to any unintentional killings that occur during the course of this armed robbery as well.
True. And as soon as somebody stands up to, you know, do the right thing, they'll blame it all on that person. Except for this guy.
Nobody
Totally legal.
All right, William Fichtner bringing the heat. So the bank manager comes out with guns blazing. You might assume that this is attempted murder because he's using a shotgun to try and kill the bank robbers, but it's likely that the justification of self-defense applies here and excuses his actions. We're going to be talking
I'm sorry, self-defense? Really? Really? Remember that standard there. Remember that standard for a later scene in the video. Just remember that.
lot about the justification of self-defense in a moment, but to give you a preview, robbery is one of the enumerated categories of situations where you're allowed to use deadly force to protect against it. So I think the bank manager is probably justified in using deadly force to protect against the robbery of the Joker and his henchmen.
Oof, the jam.
And because the Joker is not justified in using deadly force, that's just plain old attempted murder.
Yes.
When the guy was done, I should take it.
He's actually right here in that he didn't say anything wrong there. I just want you to remember that standard that he just said. Just remember that. Remember that standard.
Out. One less share, right? Funny, he told me something similar. No, no!
More murder.
I'm betting the Joker told you to kill me as soon as we loaded the cash.
No. I killed a bus driver.
God, I love this scene.
What bus driver?
Obviously,
Evil genius. What did I say? He knew the exact time. He was like, yeah, I'm supposed to kill the bus driver. Step. What bus driver? Fucking dude, it's such a good scene. Don't condone the violence, obviously. Fuck these guys. They deserved what they got. They, Reba just fucking so, motherfuckers. Making a deal with the Joker. What'd you expect was gonna happen? If you expected any less working with the Joker, that's on you. This is why that line from the Arkham game is so fucking funny. The, don't worry, boys. I'm right behind ya. Fucking, oh yeah, fuck that. That's what I'm thinking. Fuck you behind me, I'm behind you. I don't trust you, you psycho fuck.
this is some type of murder here, but what's going on? Well,
Definitely
the Joker
murder.
knew that the bus was going to break through the wall at a certain time. So one might argue that because he didn't intentionally pull a trigger and shoot a gun, that he's not liable for first-degree murder. The problem is that because he knew this was going to happen and moved out of the way and forced the guy into the path of the bus, that is a mental state we call knowingly, which generally carries with it exactly the same kind of penalty that you would have when you intentionally do an act that results in someone's death. So in this case, even though the Joker didn't pull the trigger, he knowingly engaged in actions that would lead to the death of his co-conspirator, which would qualify as at least second-degree murder, if not first-degree murder.
I absolutely agree with this take. I think that should be also charged the same. I'd say that's fair. At least second-degree murder. He definitely intentionally put him into the direction of it, which is why I think he's like, this isn't just chaos. This is fucking meticulously planned out chaos. So as much as he likes to fucking mouth off about chaos and all this shit, he definitely goes in with some level of preparation or contingencies in case things go wrong. You know, even the Joker tries to plan things out. He's not even bought into his own ideology.
That's a lot of money. What happened to the rest of the guys?
That's what
And that's
happened.
just your garden variety form of murder.
Yep.
What do you believe in, huh? What do you believe in?
I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you
Gay. I'm just kidding.
stranger.
So the Joker made physical contact with
Great line with it. I remember watching this as a kid and going, yeah, we knew. You didn't have to. We knew. He didn't have to do the fucking reveal. We knew it was him. Great scene, by the way. Shout out to this guy. He's a great actor too. You know, with him like committing to the whole like, oh, let's fucking go, click clack, fucking going in, guns a-blazing. I love that shit. Love to see it.
the bank manager there, which
Some
technically
fellow
qualifies
good
as assault,
Samaritan out
and
there.
because he used a
Respect.
smoke bomb instead of an actual incendiary grenade, I think that would probably qualify as intentional infliction of emotional distress, even though the man was not physically harmed in the explosion from a grenade. Destruction of property.
Those people are definitely dead. Very least with severe brain injuries.
Let me find you out here again.
We're trying to help you.
I don't need help.
Not my diagnosis. What?
Who the fuck are you? Oh wait, that's I'm pretty sure that's isn't that the guy who becomes Scarecrow in the third movie or some shit? Isn't he? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he plays Scarecrow later. So it's funny because he's actually a psychiatrist or whatever, or doctor or whatever. And that's why he makes that line there, oh, that's not my prognosis. Like, a little nod to the later movie. I love that shit. That's good writing there. I also love this scene with, like, the wannabe Batman vigilantes. The line he hits him with. What's the difference between me and you?
Gives you the right. What's the difference between you and me?
Not
Or
much.
you-
Is Batman justified in using
No.
self-defense and patrolling the
Not much. One, he knows what he's doing. Two, he has way more right than anybody else in Gotham City to do what he's doing, considering his family was one of the original ones who built the fucking city to begin with. Like, he owns a whole fucking chunk of it at the very least. He fucking has some level of right to fucking defend his own fucking home city and town that his fucking family paved and paid for to fucking come into existence. Like, I think he gets some level of that responsibility, but it's just only because people don't know Batman is Bruce Wayne. They can't really have that debate now, can we? I don't think I've ever heard that part of the debate. Well, he is Bruce Wayne. His family did build Gotham. They own probably most of Gotham. Would he not be one of the other than, like, he probably had more right to the city than the mayor, because, like, the guy who was elected to run the city, or one of the people who was descendants of the ones responsible for building the city. Like, they're gonna have a lot more influence and sway over the populace than whatever elected mayor got elected this year. You know what I mean? And we can't even have that kind of debate because we're so debating whether or not vigilantes are justified. Like, fuck off. Just shut up. Honestly.
streets of Gotham? Well, let's think like a lawyer. The state of New York recognizes self-defense as a justification for using physical...
Also, again, only working within the near lens of self-defense, I think for a specific reason, but maybe not. Maybe it's not intentional. I don't know. But I would never claim self-defense by getting involved in a robbery. Like, if I were to go in there and break up what the Joker and them were doing, unless I was in the bank, maybe, like, the bank teller could on some level. But, like, if I wasn't involved and I got involved if I was outside the bank and then got involved, I wouldn't claim defense of necessity. I would say, I heard a bunch of gunshots, which means these guys probably weren't worrying about taking hostages, which means people are actively dying or being killed, and I can't tell whether they're killing each other or they're killing hostages, so I'm pretty sure I'd have a more than reasonable suspicion that they're on there just killing people. And I wouldn't claim self-defense. I'd claim defense of necessity in that situation. And I would be more than happy to stand up in any fucking court and make that fucking case in front of a jury, because you can't in pretrial. You have to determine defense of necessity cases with a jury. That's why it can't be pled in pretrial and just dismissed. Like self-defense can be, but defense of necessity, it's a bit more complicated. But with the right circumstances, the right place at the right time, you could justify that 100%. And we certainly wouldn't do it through claiming self-defense. Like, I mean, when I do work through self-defense, it's actual self-defense. Do you hear the way I sound? Do I need to explain further why I'm able to manipulate self-defense? Yeah. That's how I manipulate self-defense in that way. People just don't like the way I sound, or they think I'm a certain way and they try to fuck with me. I have every right to criticize somebody who criticizes me. It's not my fault if they have a mental issue and they can't take having shit talk thrown back at them and they become violent and commit a crime. That's not on me. Most people don't. But occasionally it does happen, but that doesn't mean it's fucking on me for doing that shit. I should talk to my friends all the time. They don't drop me to the ground. I should tell my brother every time we with each other. Hard. Like, and we don't fucking try killing each other. Like, so, like, when you have somebody who's shit-talking you, you have every right to shit-talk them back. And if they decide they want to fucking lose their shit and commit a crime, you have every right to defend yourself. You have every right to defend somebody else if that person can't defend themselves against the same situation. That's just basic defense necessity. That's why throughout my entire career, they've never charged me with anything when I tell the cops straight up what happened. Because they can tell by not just my testimony, but other witnesses' testimony that I'm telling the truth, and what happened was basic self-defense or defense of necessity, which is legal. So they don't even bother charging me. As long as you're staying to, what the law is and does allow, you can get away with quite a bit. It's just usually in the more extreme cases, like when the entire justice system is corrupt and you have to go a bit farther and harder on the crime in there, and that's going to result in you needing to break some fucking rules and break some fucking law. But when there's very little law being enforced left in the system, who's going to fucking bitch about it? Nobody.
force in the defense of different people. Whether it applies is complicated. Now, the rules of using physical force and deadly physical force are different. Generally speaking, you're allowed to use physical force in self-defense if you believe it is reasonably necessary to defend yourself or a third person against the imminent use of unlawful physical force. Of course, there are exceptions to that. You're not justified in using physical force when your conduct is the one that provoked the actor who is going to use physical force against you. You can't use physical force.
This is the case for self-defense, but not defense of necessity when you are trying to help somebody else. You can commit some level of crime via defense of necessity, just so long as the crime or harm you cause is not above the harm that you prevent. It has to be below or at most equal to the harm and for it to be justified. But to sit here and say that, again, we wouldn't claim self-defense in these cases. We'd claim defense of necessity because it would allow us the right to, say, commit a lesser crime to prevent a further harm. Say some dude was about to beat up some kid, so we invited a fight by calling his mom a fucking slut and come fight me. Like, any fucking judge or jury's gonna see that, and if there's video proof of it, of you doing it, like if you're like on a ring cam or some shit, like everybody has nowadays, they're gonna look at that and go, oh no, you were absolutely in the right for doing what you did there. Especially when it comes to kids or women, maybe a guy you can't make as much good of a or the defense of necessity case for. Depends on how big the guy was. Was he an elderly person? Was he disabled? You can probably justifiably defense of necessity in those cases. But if he's a fucking bodybuilder, you probably don't need to help him anyways. He's probably fine on defending himself. Those aren't the people you will be even trying to help because they can handle their own. This is why in one video previously I mentioned I don't get involved with two jocks fighting over a fight. Not because it's unjustified or any other reason or another, just because it's a fair fight and I don't need to get involved on that. Like, it just, you know, there's times and places where we can pick and choose and be smart about it and do it legally and not have to deal with, you know, the consequences of like the severity of breaking all the laws in order to uphold morality, mainly because most cases can be handled via self-defense or defense of necessity if absolutely needed. Like, it's very rare where you have to resort to like Batman's level of fucking going hard on it, you know what I mean?
If you were the initial aggressor, unless you have clearly withdrawn from the encounter and communicated that you have withdrawn, and the second person has continued to attack you. Now, the rules of using deadly force are even more strict.
Again, none of this is applicable. In some, it kind of is. When you're trying to plead self-defense, like it's, for my cases, yes, this would apply. However, I would also argue, I live in a stand your ground state. And technically, we don't have the right to retreat here. Maybe in New York, you don't have a stand your ground state, so it's a bit different. But this is somewhere where LegalEagle should have said, this depends on jurisdiction, but in New York City specifically, this is not allowed. You do have to retreat on some level. However, in other states like Ohio, you have stand your ground states, so like you don't have to retreat. You know what I mean? Especially for self-defense. Especially for non-deadly force. He's going to be getting into deadly force now. This, I'm pretty sure, is the same thing. For guns, you can stand your ground on your own property. You stand your ground in even probably a defense of necessity case too. I would think. If you're going to apply for self-defense, you should be able to apply it to defense of necessity, because why would you allow it for me, but not for me to defend my family? Would be a weird standard to set. Like, I'm allowed to use force or deadly force to defend myself, but not my family. That'd be really weird, and I don't think anybody would ever want that standard.
Strict than using just physical force. You are not allowed to use deadly force unless you reasonably believe that the other aggressor is, in fact, going to use deadly force against you, and that is your option to prevent it being used against yourself. But even then,
this is absolutely true. This is why we don't... Most of this doesn't really apply to us, because even when we're met with deadly force, we usually go non-lethal. But the reason why he's saying this is so later when he... You'll see. We will get into it later.
If you have the opportunity to avoid the situation entirely and retreat to safety, you have an obligation to do so before engaging in deadly force. However,
if you have that.
You don't have a duty to withdraw if you are, 1, in your own home, or 2, you reasonably believe that another person is attempting to commit a burglary, or you believe that the aggressive third party who is about to use deadly force is going to commit a kidnapping, a forcible rape, a forcible criminal sexual assault, or a robbery. Under those specific...
So these specific things are allowed to be going in like that with deadly force, mind you. Remember, this is the standard we're going to set here.
enumerated situations, you don't have a duty to retreat. How do we deal with Batman? I'm Batman. Well, number one, I don't think Batman is
I did it way better.
ever using regular physical force. He has been trained as basically a ninja. While he has a code that says he shouldn't kill someone, he has the kind of training that makes his actions, I think, deadly. And even though he doesn't try to kill people, I think it's clear that people die when he gets involved. We can disagree about whether his acts are on balance good for the city, but the fact of the matter is they are illegal, at least under New York law. New York law does not look kindly on vigilantes. You can't just interject yourself into crime and pretend to be police. It just doesn't work that way. He would likely be on the hook as guilty for all of the hundreds of acts of physical assault that he has committed against the criminals of Gotham.
Okay. Remember, this is the standard you just fucking set. I want you to remember that. This is the standard. Because he's capable of deadly force, all his actions are seen as using deadly force, even if his attempts are non-lethal. As a pacifist turned radical, violent vigilante, suck my fucking dick. Actually, I literally don't even swing back in half my fights. You're gonna tell me that I'm gonna be legally held responsible for not swinging back? Fuck you. Suck my dick. Give me a fucking criminal record. I'll wear it like a fucking badge of honor like I'm a rapper and say fuck it. Why do I fucking bother with my standard? Are you gonna see me not swinging back the same way? Because technically, I am a black belt. I am fucking trained in MMA. I do know how to kill people in dozens of different ways. Hell, I think of it all the fucking time. Every object I look at, I can think of 5 different ways to kill somebody with it. I'm trained to do that. I'm capable of that. So now you're telling me all the actions I now take, even if I don't swing back in a fight, would that count? I'm curious. Because my direct way of doing things is to, like, minimize damage even to the people I'm going up against. Which is a bit slightly different than what Batman's approach would be, slightly, but it is still the same premise. You're saying even if I get backed into a corner, if I shove that guy, like, that's deadly force? If I shove him out of the way to run away, that's deadly force? If I grab a guy by his arm and ring him around to get him off the girl, that's deadly force? Every action I take, will my inactions also be counted as well? Would you like to count those? At this rate, you can just count whatever the fuck you want, can't you, huh? You make the fucking rules, right? Count it, don't count it, it's all dependent on whether or not we agree with it, right? Fuck you. Actually, to sit here and say, oh god, and to have this justice system, first off, has no right to be talking about vigilantism and their issues in their world, considering that we can copy and paste every single criticism of vigilantism and evidence, with substantial amount of evidence, apply them to cops. Every single one. And I guarantee you, I can find 100 of examples of fucking cops doing this shit before you can find 5. Suck my fucking dick, dude. Suck my fucking dick. Actually. Mad as fuck because we out here do your jobs either just as good or better. I was doing this shit at 7 years old, accidentally stumbling into the legal way of doing it. Meanwhile, the adults around me were saying it was illegal to do what I was doing, while they didn't punish me whatsoever. I get not how encouraging the 7-year-old kid to engage in this behavior. Completely understand that aspect of it. But they weren't doing that because they weren't encouraging me. They genuinely believed it was illegal, mainly due to the misinformation that people like this video perpetuates. That misinformation. That we're all just fucking villains waiting to either die the hero or live long enough to become the fucking villain. And the only context that actually fucking works is legally fucking speaking. Morally, you can suck my fucking dick.
I'm gonna make this pencil disappear.
Cute magic trick, also first-degree murder.
Enough from the clown.
Everybody knows this, bro.
Blow this out of proportion.
That's
Alright,
definitely
threatening
trying
everyone
to
with
blow
a
everybody
jacket
up
full
with
of
grenades.
That's what we call a true threat. Sometimes you run into
Yep.
First Amendment issues and whether you're allowed to say things to certain people. That's clearly not allowed here, where you have what are presumably real grenades and threatening people with them.
Why so serious?
All right,
That's
so
my
there's
question,
some regular
illegal.
murder.
Why so serious? Why are we just skipping over all the mentions of corruption in the justice system, and thus that's why Batman goes as hard as he does, and even the cops allow him to do so within Gotham limits? I love how we're just glossing all that over.
Operation is small, but there's a lot of potential for aggressive expansion. So which of you fine gentlemen would like to join our team?
You know, every lawyer who's watching this video just got
Right now,
hard.
So we're gonna have tryouts.
Arguably, you could say that those people engaged in physical violence because of the duress from the Joker. So I think the Joker's probably on the hook for 2 more counts of homicide.
I meant to say judges and lawyers in that joke I just made. That's my bad. I missed that joke. Ignore that joke. If you know, you know. Aggressive expansion, judges and lawyers, you know, slavery. It is cheaper.
I'm not sure what the equivalent of the FAA would be in Hong Kong, but you're not allowed to go gliding around a city like that. That would be a violation of airspace, at least in New York City. I'm assuming Hong Kong probably has a similar thing. So when people go base jumping off of buildings, totally illegal, reckless endangerment, and some sort of violation of aviation law.
Question, would that same logic not apply to drones? I always wondered that. I need an answer on that, LegalEagle. Would drones not be breaking the same regulations? Unlike registered flight within a city limits or a township's limits, you know? I'm just wondering where we draw the line. For those of you who do not understand the context of what the fuck is happening here, because LegalEagle doesn't get it, this guy Lau is a corrupt businessman who was operating in Gotham City until he got busted for all the shit he was doing and then fled the country. Thus why Bruce is currently in Hong Kong kidnapping him. Now that you understand the context of who this guy is and that he has a warrant out for his arrest from the GCPD, I will let the rest of this context movie or clip play out.
And there, Batman
All these guys here, by the way, are on the take by this guy and know he's wanted in this another country.
just straight up kidnaps Lau. Whatever the Hong Kong equivalent of kidnapping, I think that's probably what Batman just engaged in.
Yes, he did just kidnap that guy. Legally speaking.
Batman drops off Lau.
Hey, look, the guys who wanted him in arrest had a warrant out for his arrest. Oh, what are the odds? That's who he dropped him off to. Oh, weird coincidence, huh?
To Lieutenant Gordon. So the question is, can the police
Y'all can stay mad. Especially at this next part. Whoo! Thank you for this next part, LegalEagle. At least you got this right.
actually use evidence that they get from Lau because Batman illegally kidnapped him from an international country? Well, there is a doctrine that applies to governments that says if the evidence is wrongfully obtained and you use that wrongfully obtained evidence to find more evidence down the line, that's called the fruit of the poisonous tree, and often that is excluded at trial. But the thing is, Batman is not able.
Often. Sorry, Luigi. Often, but not in your case. Don't worry about it. Vigilante? Oh, yeah, no, we'll just omit that illegally obtained evidence we have. Remember that. Oh, I will. It's up on my whiteboard for justifications for our existences.
Police officer, Batman is a private party. So while
As
Batman
much as I disagree with Luigi, just saying, I'm not gonna stand for that kind of fucking bullshit. That double standard shit. That's fucked. Or like y'all gonna question it whether or not we collect evidence against an actual criminal, but when you collect evidence against us illegally, it's totally abyss. Fuck you. Fuck all of you. All of you fucking corrupt ass motherfuckers who sat on your ass and let us end up in the position we're in right now because of your fucking corruption.
Batman may be liable, and almost certainly is liable, for the use of deadly force and for illegal kidnapping, the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine doesn't apply because the police here were blameless.
Does they get anything on you and those criminals?
This is actually fucking true. This aspect of it, at least. Once he's in their hands, he got dropped off. At that point, they read him his rights and actually arrested him since they had a warrant out for his arrest. How he ended up magically just passed out on their front step, they don't know how that happened, but that's not really relevant to them. They still have a warrant out for his arrest. You see how people are so pro-vigilante when it benefits them and when it actually works for them. Remember that.
Back on the streets, followed swiftly by you and me.
All right, another act of murder by the Joker.
RP legend, fellow vigilante hero. Maybe he probably wasn't the best hero, but I mean, hey, forever, bruh. Rest in peace.
Killing the Batman-like vigilante.
You see, this is how crazy Batman's made Gotham. If you want order in Gotham, Batman must take off his mask and turn himself in. Oh, and every day he doesn't, people will die. Starting tonight.
My instant response to this video would be to broadcast, I will unmask the second the Joker is off. And just wait for him to do it, and then go like, ha, idiot. He actually thought I was gonna do it. Not today, motherfucker. That's what I did.
I'm a man of my word.
All right, so the Joker there, not only is he engaging in assault and homicide against this vigilante Batman wannabe, but he's also engaging in a terroristic threat against the government and people of Gotham itself. Under New York Penal Code Section 490, a person is guilty of terrorism when they intimidate or coerce a civilian population, influence the policy of a unit of government by intimidation or coercion, or affect the conduct of a unit of government by murder, assassination, kidnapping, etc. Here, the Joker is engaging in all of that. He's trying to get the police to stop working, he's trying to get Batman to stop chasing him, and he is trying to terrorize the entire civilian.
I fucking kind of would apply to that if I would fucking pressure the government into doing something. Well, no, that's only through threatening force, though. I'd have to threaten force, not like push the government to want to do in one direction. That's true. I would have to actually make a threat of like bombing something or shooting up something. Right? Pretty sure that's what that standard means. Me just saying, yeah, the government needs to do its fucking job doesn't really apply, even though I am technically a vigilante. I'm not really fucking learning anything or intimidating people into doing it. Other than the fact I'll fucking just do it myself if they don't. I'm not sure how that really threatens them. If anything, it's threatening the person they're not going after at most.
Population into disclosing the identity of Batman and to turn against Batman. So I think that is a classic case of terrorism, of mass terror, and making a terroristic threat.
Making a terroristic threat, I'd agree.
All right. Murder
There goes the judge.
Murder
There
of the police
goes
chief.
the captain.
We made it.
Hear that line. Hear that line. They came for him. If you're wondering the context, he's referring to Harvey Dent. What just happened in the context of this, for the last couple years, Bruce Wayne and Batman, working with Jim Gordon, recruiting people to rebuild the justice system, i.e. getting a new police captain, i.e. getting a judge that will rule favorably against criminals and not take bribes, and a prosecutor to prosecute the cases they catch, i.e. the two people you just saw murdered, and Harvey Dent, who Bruce just grabbed and moved into this room, and I will now play you the rest of this video. If you're wondering why Joker is killing all these people, it's because it's the few good people we have working within the system of Gotham. He's trying to root back out the attempts of anti-corruption that Bruce Wayne and Gotham has been trying to do for the last couple years.
And technically, Bruce Wayne has engaged in kidnapping of Harvey Dent by taking Harvey Dent away from the party against his will.
This is just a wild interpretation of that fucking scene. Like I just gave the context of, Bruce knows the Joker's here for Harvey Dent. He also knows once he realizes Harvey's nowhere to be found, he's gonna start killing people. So again, with this context in mind, remember that context. He knows he's there for Harvey Dent. He grabs Harvey to lock him in a room, tells him not to come out, and runs back out for obvious reasons. This is basic defense and necessity. This wouldn't even be and arguably self-defense since he was at the party too. Arguably, if the fucking bank teller had fucking self-defense rights, then fucking Batman certainly attending the party that happens to be getting robbed or whatever. That's basic self-defense. At least I would morally say so. Maybe it's not a legal standard across the board, but who knows, maybe it should be.
Fighting you. I like that.
Then you're gonna love me.
Oh yeah, you're gonna love me. Also, you got a problem with anything in this scene. Anything in this scene. Please, for the love of God, go rewatch the rest or beginning of this movie. When this guy's killing his own fucking guys, you think he is about to kill this whole room full of people? You know nothing about the Joker. There is no talking down or negotiating or doing any of this bullshit. He'll kill his whole crew and almost kill himself by killing everybody in this room if needed. This is why Bruce doesn't come out, talk no jutsu like I would, and nor would I, against the fucking Joker, 'cause I fucking know better. This is the only appropriate response for people like Joker and his crew, is what is happening, by the way.
Again, because Batman doesn't have the justification of self-defense, he is not...
Again, we wouldn't even... I wouldn't even claim self-defense. Defense of necessity. I know they're going to start killing people the second they can't find the person that I hid in the closet. I know this.
legally allowed to commit these acts of assault and battery, even against the Joker's henchmen.
Or Batman knows this, at least. If I knew that, I would claim defense of necessity, and that's what I would claim in court if I did end up in court, which Bruce never does. Neither have I, for obvious reasons.
And here, he had a duty to withdraw. Because he didn't, he's likely guilty of several dozen counts.
Also, this is when he's working with the cops. So to think he doesn't have some legal authority on some level at this point, you're out of your goddamn mind. He has full right to bust it up like this at this point, since he's working with the system itself. They're prosecuting his cases. Like, of course he has the fucking right.
Of battery.
Drop the gun.
Oh, sure.
Maybe when he doesn't have legal authority, again, you can make a case. But now, at this point, in this movie, he does have legal authority from the GCPD to go full Batman and apprehend them however you need. You have permission from us to do so.
You just take off your little mask and show us all who you really are.
Okay, here we have a clear loitering violation.
Sure,
in addition to the normal thing.
jump out that window first. I'll show you on your way down. That's what I'd say.
That constitute loitering. A person loiters when he or she is masked or disguised in an unnatural...
This is, again, another talking point that we talked about in the last video. You can't just be running around with a full mask covering your face, because in some places, it's against the law. And even in some places, it's part of loitering, is if you're hiding your identity, you're basically loitering. It doesn't matter if you're hanging around in the same place for longer than a couple seconds. It's still considered loitering. Weird way to interpret this law. I guess it's just a kind of a New York thing. I don't think that's kind of a thing in Ohio. We have our own kind of thing for it. It's not a part of loitering. You're just not really allowed to hide your identity. And it's only in Pacific times, like during protests, you're not allowed to hide your identity. Kind of a thing. It's more of an anti-protester rioting kind of a thing than a loiter kind of charge. I believe this must just be like a New York standard, and I don't think that is the same for Ohio, at least. So this is why we always encourage, look up your local and state laws, make sure you're doing your due diligence, not just in learning some law about some state that you don't even live in. You need to learn your specific state, the laws and the jurisdictions that govern you, and what their standards specifically are. Just, for future reference. Like, don't just be like applying New York law to Gotham City. It's a bad idea. It's just, it will not normally, there will be at least some differences at the very least. Whether it's on the smaller side or grander side of things, it just depends.
Way or attire and remains or congregates in public. So clearly Batman is violating the loitering statute here.
Let her go.
Very poor choice of words.
Yeah. Drop him. Right down the belly. Somehow, some way, I see LegalEagle making the case that Batman is responsible for that because he told him to let go as he hung her out the window. So technically, that would be his responsibility. He should have phrased it. He should have phrased his words better. 100%, I can see him making a case at that time, Bruce. Yeah, I just want you to know, if you are the type of person to make that case, you are the type of people we would let fall.
I still don't fully understand how Batman and Rachel survived that fall, but nonetheless, still an attempted murder by the Joker.
Yeah, I still don't understand either. If you actually keyframe this fucking scene, it's so bad, like the continuity. First off, they land on the front windshield of the car, which is just wild. If you like, yeah, you can like see like right where they landed. If you like keyframe this very slowly. First off, I'm pretty sure in this moment here, this moment, he drops Rachel. You can see right here, this little area here, how this body is dropping faster than Bruce's. You see how his hand is still up here, but they're dropping super far down? Yeah, he drops Rachel at the last second. I'm pretty sure this is what this is. Because then she lands first. And then he lands on top of her. I'm like, what? How did they do this? It's a good thing that was only on screen for a second and nobody had a rewind button in the movie theater, because they would have fucking obviously saw that, but I just thought that was a funny little nod. He drops Rachel last second. It's not funny, but it's still funny they survived this still either way. I think it's because his cape caught them as like a parachute. It has like a function to do that, I guess. And that kind of explains part of it.
I still don't fully understand how Batman and Rachel survived that fall, but nonetheless, still an attempted murder by the Joker.
Yes. Attempt to murder.
And I think that probably constitutes the unpermitted use of indoor pyrotechnics or firearms, which is a Class E felony in New York, even for the purposes of wannabe detective work.
Wannabe detective work. Oh. You know these motherfuckers are so mad that he's called the world's greatest detective. You can just tell they're seething at that shit. I need to take a break real quick because I need to refresh my drink real quick. Tea break. Whatever, I doubt it's gonna fucking pop up. If my fan fucking noise gets picked up in the background, I apologize. It's too hot in here not to. Nice dive. Nice. Nice. Nice.
And obviously, Batman's gonna beat the crap out of some of these bodyguards. Still counts as breaking and entering. Even though Lau's guards are using deadly force against Batman, that probably doesn't give him justification for him to use deadly force or close to deadly force against them. He has a duty to withdraw, not breaking into the building for the purpose of arresting these people.
Again, he hits it with the deadly force. Punching somebody who is shooting at you is deadly force if you're breaking into their house, apparently. But this isn't because he's breaking into their house, it's because it's Batman, specifically, and he's a trained ninja, and he knows how to kill people, and it's like, this is such a bullshit standard. What? That's not even a fucking standard to be had. Like, what? Like, if you know how to throw a proper punch, does that mean you know how to kill people? And therefore, any action you take can be interpreted as deadly force? This is like the most cop take I've ever heard in my life. And he's not even a cop. I want the Joker.
I want the Joker. From one professional to another. If you're trying to scale somebody, pick up at a spot from this height. Fall wouldn't kill me. I'm counting on it. Oh.
Yeah. Ouch.
Jeez.
Where is he? I don't know.
I relate hard to that scene, shattering the fuck out of my leg. That I shattered my leg at a fraction of the height. I'm pretty sure that fall would kill him. By the way, just FYI, that's a very unrealistic scene.
Where he is.
All right, so obviously Batman is engaging in assault and battery against this mobster. New York does not have a specific offense called torture. That would just simply fall under the regular rubric of battery and assault, and it would simply be enhanced based on all of the factors that went into it, Batman's ferocity with which he beat the crap out of this mobster for the purpose of information. California, on the other hand, does have a specific crime called torture, which is found when an individual inflicts great bodily injury with the intent to cause cruel or extreme pain for the purposes of revenge, extortion, persuasion, or sadism. So the end result here would be probably exactly the same. I just find it particularly interesting that one state has an actual offense called torture while New York does not.
True, this is actually fucking pretty. I always thought that was kind of weird too. Some states don't have an actual torture thing. It's just kind of like considered assault and battery, I guess. I guess New York is one of those states. I don't think even, I think Ohio is similar. Do we have a torture statute? Or is we, let's Google it. We don't spread misinformation on this channel. Person shall torture an animal, deprive one necessary. Okay, yeah, well, if you can't torture an animal, I'm assuming you can torture a person either. No person shall torture an animal, deprive one of necessary substance. What is this all just for? Animals for? What the fuck? I don't trust the AO reviews. I guess it does technically against animals at the very least. I wonder if it'd be applicable to people. Or else, or maybe it'd just be assault and battery at that point. I'll have to look into that more later.
What the hell was that?
Oh, well. There's the answer.
All right, using cars and trucks as a deadly weapon clearly qualifies as aggravated vehicular assault and attempted aggravated vehicular homicide. When you attack a police officer, it almost always enhances the crime, which carries with it a very, very severe penalty.
God, this scene
Batman
is so
driving
bad.
his bat cycle around Gotham, destroying lots of different cars, probably guilty of reckless endangerment of property. Someone is guilty of reckless endangerment of property when they engage in reckless conduct, which creates a substantial risk to damaging the property of other people. Here, Batman is driving a motorcycle which is not licensed, which is in no way street legal, and is just destroying cars left and right.
Also, again, a wild interpretation of blowing up cars all just left and right. He only blew up those cars because they got in his way. He wasn't just blowing up cars to blow up cars. And I agree, it was a pretty stupid move when he could have just lane hopped this shit. I don't know why the fuck he's fucking blowing up cars. Like, imagine those kids were in one of the cars he blew up. I mean, it's just a bad scene overall. This movie's a bad movie, so I hate this movie. It's just so bad. Oh God, I fucking hate every time I see this fucking scene. It fucking traumatized me as a child when I saw this fucking when I was a kid, dude. I swear, dude. It fucking. Ugh. I think it's just because this dude's fucking stomach is super hairy. It's probably his fucking main point. I'll best believe it is, buddy.
All right, so in addition to all of the
Jesus.
dozens or so aggravated murders that the Joker has just done by killing a bunch of police officers, he has also engaged in a violation of Section 195 of the Penal Code, which is to...
For those of you who need the context of that scene, we're missing huge context of this stuff. Was it Joker who hit the bombs, or was it somebody else? God, somebody's dead. Or somebody does dent into the fold, or gets him on Joker's side at this point in the movie. Joker, like, recruits Two-Face, and he's gonna blow up which is the whole point of him blowing up a hospital and shit.
Use of a bomb. There is a specific provision that prevents you from using or threatening to use a bomb against the government. It definitely applies there.
If Coleman Reese isn't dead in 60 minutes, then I blow up a hospital.
So in addition to...
Oh, okay, this is still before that scene. So when he goes to the hospital, he recruits Harvey and then blows up the hospital. My bad. This is actually still before. So Harvey is not involved in this yet.
Aiding and abetting the homicide of this person who was going to demask Batman. It also probably qualifies as criminal anarchy and inciting to riot under Section 240 of the New York Penal Code. The Joker is just trying to create pandemonium, and there are rules against doing that, not surprisingly.
Beautiful,
Oh, yeah.
unethical, dangerous. You've turned every cell phone in Gotham into a
Damn
microphone.
straight.
And a high-frequency generator receiver.
You took my sonar concept and applied it to every phone in the city. With half the city feeding you sonar, you can image all of Gotham. This is wrong.
All right, Lucius Fox is
100% correct, which is why I'm adding context to this story. This machine is called Brother Eye. It is something that Lucius Fox and Batman kind of create together. They both also agree when it's created, it's way too abusive, easily to be abused, and something that shouldn't really be brought out ever, unless in the worst case of scenarios, which is when they use it, and they steal that context to use it in this movie. But in the comics, it's like only world-ending threats they'll use Brother Eye for, or multiverse is falling apart and every living being is gonna die, so the efficacy of Big Brother the debate can be thrown out the window while we save the world. Okay, we can get back to debating about it when the universe is in collapsing kind of situations, and that's usually when they only use Brother Eye. But even the characters themselves agree this is completely unethical, which is why Lucius gives this speech, because it's the same speech he gives Bruce when they first created in the comics.
100% right that everything Batman is doing here is inappropriate, constitutes a number of different computer crimes under
highly
Section
illegal,
126 of the New York Penal Code, including the unauthorized use of a computer trespass, computer tampering, wiretapping, invasion of privacy. There is really no end to how illegal this particular tactic of Batman is. Basically, by hacking everyone's phones, he just engaged in 30 million different felony computer crimes.
At midnight, I blow you all up.
Which, yes, and arguably it's funny mentioning how it's like, oh, you use everybody's cell phones to spy on them. Such a crime, right? Such a crime that, people, spying on us using our electronic devices could, be a huge, privacy and efficacy issue. Who would have known? Not in the modern day, right? Not in our smartphone modern age, right? No way. No way, right?
If one of you presses the button, I'll let that boat live.
Got no problem doing the same shit when you can make some scratch off it, huh? Batman uses it to save the day? Oh, it's a fucking menace to society. He's a menace. You make some money off of that, you're just a smart businessman.
So, who's it gonna be? Harvey Dent's most wanted scumbag collection, or the sweet and innocent civilians? You choose.
All right, so obviously this probably constitutes a number of attempted homicides, but I think it also probably constitutes rioting or incitement to riot under Section 240 of the New York Penal Code.
Yeah.
All right, that's The Dark Knight. Batman and...
That is not all The Dark Knight. There was so much context taken out of this video, it is not even funny. Again, we're done with him watching this whole video. You can all go rewatch? At any point in this video, did he bring up the mass corruption in the justice system? Did he bring up Harvey Dent was the person that the Joker was gunning for at that dinner where Bruce hid him in the closet? Does he mention any of these things whatsoever? Any of what the actual purpose of this movie was? Absolutely not. All that matters is the kills and the actual crimes that happened on screen, and I'm pretty sure LegalEagle was only shown clips of these scenes. He did not actually go through the whole movie and react to the whole movie like I'm doing with his video right now. He's only seen the clips of it. I doubt this guy's even seen the Dark Knight movie. Either that or I don't know. That's my good interpretation of all this. The only way I can let him have some good faith. It's just God, it comes off as so fucking bad faith that you completely ignore the underlying message of this movie, particularly the entire time you want to talk about Joker and the Batman committing crimes, but not mention about most of the police and the justice system committing crime, which is why the whole movie is the way it is. Joker killing the new people who Bruce and Jim and fucking Harvey Dent were recruiting to help rebuild the justice system. Didn't put that context in there, didn't explain who those people were. You just showed them getting kills so you can count the murder. Count the murder. Count the murder. That's all that mattered in this reaction. But no actual context to the situation of Gotham City and why some of these actions morally to a lot of people in a jury certainly could be justified. Maybe not legally to the fucking law, but you know what? There's a reason why it's amendable. There's a reason why we're allowed to fucking set new precedent. Yeah, it's rare. Yeah, it's risky. But at times, that's what you need. So, we can agree to disagree about that kind of stuff. And, whatever in the third. But it's just... The mischaracterization, how we go in with non-lethal force, but you still consider it deadly force, is just such a fucking god-awful, evil misreading of what we are and what we are fucking trying to accomplish. When I tell these people what we do, as long as you do not go further than the cops would, with legal authority, who is legally allowed to cap a motherfucker in the exact situation Batman finds himself in and be called a fucking hero, give him a fucking medal, give him a fucking raise, give him a promotion, he should be captain of the police department. But fucking Batman takes the exact same actions, just without legal authority, and all of a sudden it's the most unethical, illegal thing in the world. I can agree it's illegal, but you can't sit here and argue that it's ethical or unethical. I know you can't argue that. You specifically, LegalEagle, cannot argue this. You want to know why? You want to know why we're going to go through the rest of this video? But first, we will talk about all this, the kidnapping of Harvey Dent. Seriously? Did you count this? Did you count the fucking kidnap? Hold up.
About Batman. Assuming self-defense doesn't apply, which it probably doesn't, and assuming the sentences run concurrently, Batman assaulted approximately...
Yes, we know Joker committed crime. We don't care. He was already supposed to be in prison. We're for Batman.
50 henchmen, bodyguards, and regular people for conservatively 150 years in jail. Destruction of property, kidnapping, and...
By the way, some of that would be covered under defense of necessity and even property defense, depending on where he was getting jumped at.
Torture for approximately 45 years in jail, and of course...
I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. Play the clip, me.
Ow. It's a really nice table.
Of course, 30 million counts of computer trespass and tampering and wiretapping for roughly 60 million years in jail.
Huh, I'll give you that one as well. That is absolutely highly illegal, unethical, immoral. Depends on the circumstances of the case, and I'm pretty sure in the right circumstances, anybody would justify the big eye, or big brother, fucking big brother eye, whatever fucking machine it is, okay? The whole universe was falling apart, and it was our only option. You would justify using it too. Shut the fuck up.
That is a long time in Arkham.
You're gonna die, hero. Or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
I know Batman is...
And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is why we're here today. Remember earlier in the fucking video when I mentioned that people mischaracterized that fucking line as something that is a reference to Batman? That scene that you just watched, you know who he's looking down at right now? You know who he's looking down at right now? The dead body of Harvey Dent. As he says this and turns over the face from the burnt side to his normal side, referencing that he was more than just the criminal he became, and that they needed to save his legacy in order for people to have hope that Gotham's system was still redeemable, despite the fact it wasn't. And Harvey admits it in the scene before he dies. Joker was right. He can't even corrupt the best of us. So to remove all that context and to shove this anti-vigilante fucking line in your audience's face, fuck you, dude. Fuck whoever edited this shit into your video, and you should fire them. Personally fire them, okay? Because Jesus fucking Christ. Again, this line only is applicable in our world, legally speaking. You either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself be made the criminal because the justice system got sick of you being better at their jobs. Despite the fact we don't go even as far as the cops would with legal authority, but go ahead and call us immoral and unethical, call us fucking flicking a dude on the forehead deadly force because we know how to fucking kill somebody. That's a great standard to have across the board. Let's fucking play. You want to play that? We can play that. Next time I see an ICE agent even think about putting a finger on a female, you think I'm gonna hold my gun, my trigger finger, as much as Alex Previtt did? With this standard across the board? Yeah, that's what I fucking thought. Now you're starting to see just how fucking stupid that standard would be. Get the fuck out of here. Actually. Fuck you. And to again mischaracterize this line as if it's meant for Batman when it's meant for Harvey Dent when he did die the villain. He didn't die the hero, he did commit those crimes. He was the guilty one. He was the last hope of Gotham, the last non-corrupt prosecutor, corrupted. Showing that Gotham could break anybody. Which is a stupid fucking settlement because Hell, they put so much faith into Harvey Dent. I'm sorry, but even one of these guys standing in this scene here dying breaks that chain all the way anyways. If Batman died, their whole hope is gone. If Jim Gordon goes and the police don't want to work with Batman and they don't even bother going after cases to give to Harvey, their chain breaks. So all three of them are equally important, but they put so much weight on Harvey Dent, like he was the only hope. He wasn't. He was a part of a bigger picture that they were planning, and I still think it's stupid that you couldn't find a single fucking lawyer who wasn't taking a bribe to come to Gotham to help you clean up the justice system. But this is the movie you want to talk about, LegalEagle. This is the movie you want to talk about and talk about all this shit and mischaracterize us and how we operate and how we do things. Okay? Meanwhile, in your description, this week, we're covering the greatest Batman movie ever made. Perhaps the greatest superhero movie of all time, The Dark Knight. Fuck you. Actually, fuck you. Keep milking. Just keep milking it, us. Please, for the love of God, keep milking us while you sit there and try to debate whether or not we're ethical. Please, it is the most laughable, pathetic thing I've witnessed humanity do in my 20 fucking years of doing this shit. And that's a fucking low bar, let me tell you what. Just keep glorifying it. Why don't you go make another Joker movie and make him out to be the real fucking hero? See how that works out again. Go and inspire another Trump while you're fucking at it. Like, seriously. No wonder why we ended up in the position we're in today. Bunch of bitch-made, fuck you all. The fact you all sat aside and thought I was a coward back when I was a pacifist, only for me to be forced into defending myself so you can all call me the fucking psycho? Fuck all of you. Actually, fuck every single last one of you. I cannot tolerate this shit anymore, and nor will I. I will call it out in every fucking aspect of our society. I'll say it to the fucking corrupt president's face himself and spit in it while I'm fucking at it. But then again, that'd be using deadly force, so maybe I shouldn't threaten that, right? Fuck you. They call me, and my generation, a bunch of fucking snowflakes. We were the ones headbutting our bullies off of us. You call us the snowflakes? Really? You really want to go there? Bro, I can't tell you how many of the people I went up against in my juvenile years who are Trump supporters now. Like, they are unironically the same fucking people that try to bully kids on the fucking playground are the ones who are supporting Donald Trump and shit. These people are just sad. They're sad and pathetic. They've been doing the same pathetic, same plays since elementary school. That's why Donald Trump's talking points are mostly elementary school fucking insults. They literally never learned any better. Like, unironically. Like, fuck. Fuck you all. That's my take on this. We'll have a whole other video about The Dark Knight and what it gets right, what it gets wrong, the fucking negative stereotypes that it's perpetuated into people's minds who know better and really shouldn't be speaking on the subject like this, using fucking clips as fucking context. Even in 2019, we knew better than to fucking do this shit. Come on. God, you people are so sad. And the thing is, it's LegalEagle. I don't expect this level of lack of due diligence from you. I don't expect that from you. I expect better. And I know you can do better. And I hope in the future and from here on out, you will do better. If you're somehow watching this video, somehow watch it all the way through it. But, yeah. I, once again, agree with this first comment here. Objection. Bruce Wayne is rich. Rich people did not go to jail in America, and that's the standard your justice system set, LegalEagle. Your justice system. So get off my fucking dick about mine. And Bruce's. And Peter's. And any other vigilante hero for that matter. I'll give you the anti-heroes. Go react to Frank Castle. Go react to Dexter. Fair game. But do not come after the people like me, who literally do not even swing back in half of the fights I get into and say that we are out here perpetuating deadly force while we fucking engage in crime fighting. Fuck off. Just fuck off with that interpretation, because you're just fucking so far from reality, my friend. Holy fucking shit. You missed the gun the Joker was using as a machine gun, as a felony under federal law. True! Machine guns are fully automatics. That's part of a crime. You missed that too. See, even the comments are doing your job better than you. Jesus! Oh my god! That's the other part. Fuck you for whoever wrote that line. I don't care if it was LegalEagle. I don't care if it was your team writing the script. The Arkham line. The Arkham line. Really? Really? Okay. I hope you know in our world we shut down the insane asylums just like they shut down Arkham actually. Womp womp. So good luck sending him to Arkham. It's not open anymore. Mental health is a hoax. It's a conspiracy made up by the left. Oh my god. The fact he says Arkham. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe he doesn't know Arkham is not a jail and that it's the insane asylum. They send insane people. I don't think that was his line. I think it was a written script line. 100%. One of his woke writer teammates probably wrote that shit in there. Have fun in Arkham. You mean the place that Bruce Wayne funds? Solely? That place. You mean that place, right? Oof. Wait until you learn the canon of Gotham, my friend. You're gonna be fucking, what the fuck? Acting like he don't got a bat train that would knock that fucking asylum down in one blow. Fucking, fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. He's going to Arkham. Fuck out of here. Y'all can't even catch a 7-year-old pacifist who I didn't even know was doing it. I didn't even know I was doing it legally right. I just told all you to suck my dick. And you just couldn't do anything because I was accidentally doing it the legal way. Well, you can't even catch me on something. You think you catch him, Bruce? Bitch, please. Bitch, please. I don't have half the intelligence, half the wealth, half the fucking drive that man does. Okay? You ain't catching shit. You wish you could catch me. Let alone Bruce. So, I have to cut this part in because I completely forgot to mention this. I wanted to go over this really quickly before the end of the video. Where are we at with the, where is it? When he goes to the dance and ball. So, earlier we mentioned, he said, this is clearly not self-defense. I agree. This is clearly not self-defense. This is clearly defense of necessity. In this situation, the context is this. Batman knows who's coming. It's Joker. It's Joker's gang. And immediately moves into action. He knows he's here for his team. The team that Bruce Wayne and Batman have been putting together for years now. Harvey Dent, Jim Gordon, the judge they just killed, the police captain he just killed, right? These were people who were the few people in Gotham City not taking a bribe, basically. And Joker just fucking wiped some of them out and went to go find Harvey to do the same. This is why Bruce hides or kidnaps Harvey in this scene and throws him into a room and locks the door behind them and says, do not come out. Because in this moment, he knows Joker. He knows he's looking for Harvey, the guy he just hid, and knows he's not going to find him. He knows he's the type of person he's going to kill to get what he wants, and he will more than be willing to kill somebody just to set the example that he will kill everybody there. Knowing this context, this is where this scene then takes place, where he runs off, knowing that by the way, he cuts out the part of this movie where he's, in this moment, threatening to kill people if Harvey doesn't come out, so he's about to start killing people. This is when Bruce jumps in the bat suit, FYI. Which, by the way, he was an attendant of this party. I feel like that gives some right to self-defense, but even if you can't have self-defense, this is basic defense and necessity. Basic defense and necessity. He is not using any more harm than what he is preventing, which is a murder. He doesn't kill any of these people. And unless he does, he is not equal to the harm he is trying to prevent in this moment. This is why he has to do this weird game where a punch, legally speaking, wouldn't consider that deadly force because he's a trained assassin or something, right? Yeah, it's clearly that's deadly force. But if a good Samaritan did the same, it wouldn't be considered that, would it? If you were looking for that loophole where you could justify Batman in this scene, there you go. This is why he doesn't bring up the defense of necessity, because under that, technically, Batman would be 100% justified in doing what he does in this scene.
I
forget my headphones are off and I can't hear this anymore. But him coming into this... I have to turn my headphones back on. God damn it. Where's my buttons? They're backwards. That's why I can't find the button.
By taking
so in this context, he knows all this is playing out. He knows this is all how it's gonna go down, and he jumps into action. He knows there's no time to fucking call the cops. There's no fucking way they're responding in the next few seconds to stop somebody from being murdered. This is the clearest cut defense of necessity that I could see for Batman in his circumstances. He just happened to be right place, right time as Bruce Wayne. There's no conspiracy to be Batman there. He wasn't even there as Batman originally. He was there as Bruce Wayne. It happened to be a coincidence. And you can show that in court via the 50 witnesses that are at this party.
Dent away from the party against his will.
A little fight.
Against his will. Yes, because he was the one Joker is after.
I like that. And you're gonna love me.
Absolutely justified in everything he does here. Everything here. You notice he didn't just kick some guy standing around. Every single one of these guys came at him. Well, except for Joker. He definitely did punch him just straight in the face. But I would argue him just threatening to kill people if Harvey doesn't come out, and he knows he's not letting Harvey come out, he has to act in this moment before people start dying. And if a cop were to do the same exact thing, they wouldn't bat a fucking eye at it.
Batman doesn't have the justification of self-defense.
And they would come in guns blazing and kill all these guys. They wouldn't be using non-lethal force like Batman or me. They'd be just going in guns blazing.
He is not legally allowed to commit these acts of assault and battery, even against...
See, there's he does say it in this thing. Legally, not allowed to do this. Not actually true. If Gotham has a statute for defense of necessity, this is probably the clearest cut fucking justification of Batman acting against a criminal probably ever, actually. And it's just ironic that it's heavily misrepresented here by an actual lawyer.
The Joker's henchman here, he had a duty to withdraw. Because he didn't, he's likely...
Well, you don't know. You would have to know whether or not technically he did retreat, but then Joker technically started to threaten to kill people, which brought him back because he knew he would do it. Legally speaking, defense of necessity.
Guilty of several dozen counts of battery.
No, he wouldn't be.
Oh, sure, you just take off your little mask and show us all who you really are.
Okay, here we have a clear loitering violation. In addition to the normal things that constitute loitering, a person loiters when he or she is masked or disguised in an unnatural way or attire and remains or congregates in public. So clearly Batman is violating the loitering statute here.
Kind of, but if we were playing into the defense of necessity and you played it right, you have witnesses attesting that you played it right. If you wanted to keep your identity away from the criminals, you would really just have to give your identity to the cops and not the criminals. You know what I mean? Like, but if you just didn't want the criminals, we could make a statute for that where we could just allow them to be like secret identity having for criminals. But when you're talking to a cop, you have to give them your ID. You have to identify yourself. I'd say we could have a standard. I'd be fine doing that kind of exchange, working with the cops and shit. If I was allowed to wear a mask, I would definitely unmask for them. It also would depend on the cop, though. If I know you're a corrupt cop, Like, is you know, we might just have to make a run for it. Run for it, or, you know, steal his taser and knock him out with it. One of the two. Which in and of itself would be a crime, but, you know. I guess just anything we do, breathing at this point apparently as a vigilante is illegal, I guess.
Very poor choice of words.
Like I said, in our world, he would just be responsible for Rachel being dropped here. 100% they'd make that case. How could he just tell her so callously to drop her? Like, he didn't care at all. It shows how little he was actually giving a fuck about these people's well-being. He just wanted to take out his childhood trauma on these guys, right? Like, you could 100% see somebody making the case for that. I can definitely see some woke dipshit fucking making the case for that. I can see Skyline making that case, honestly. Now that I say it. But then you wouldn't have this to show the counter that. Like, well, obviously he cared, he dove in for her. But they would still definitely try to make the argument that this is all on Bruce for this happening. They probably blame Joker showing up for Batman being there, even though he's not even there for Batman, he's there for Harvey. They'd probably somehow spin it in that way.
I still don't fully understand.
Also, did anybody even die in that scene? I need to go rewatch this scene. Again, I don't think anybody even died in this scene, so this whole idea of Batman, whenever Batman gets involved, people die, well, it's not entirely true always. Maybe. It can happen, just like it can happen to a cop. If they get involved, somebody might die too, because it escalates the situation. Like, it's possible, sure. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it's, like, not a thing that happens. But in, like, my 20 years of experience, I've yet to get somebody killed on some dumb shit, mainly because I'm not a fucking idiot. Or killed somebody directly, whether through my actions or inaction. Like, this idea, when we get immediately involved, it's like a death sentence to the people around us, or the people we're going up against, is just such a fucking ugly it's like the fucking cops are all racist level of fucking, are you serious? Are we really going down to that level of intelligence? Like, seriously? To sit here and act like Dexter Morgan, Frank Castle, and Bruce Wayne are the exact same fucking character or person, or are motivated by the same ideologies, like, it's just like a fucking huge misread and just misinformation campaign. And I love how this video all started out with him saying, "Oh, I'm a lawyer, of course you could trust me." Funny. You know what, I told a judge hire standard to a fucking lawyer, but you don't see me taking opinions from Roberts right now, okay? I'm just saying. You can pull that lawyer card all you want. Maybe back in 2019 it could have we could have had something, dude. We could have had something. But in 2026, good luck with that, buddy. The greatest superhero movie ever made. Today we're answering two questions. Since we know the Joker is doing all kinds of illegal stuff, tallied up all the crimes and how many life sentences, because there's a lot for Batman, we answer the question, can he use self-defense justification to fight crime? Why is this this is just so weird. Hey, why not just be, is he justified in fighting crime? Like, why not just that? Or is Batman just as guilty as the criminals he fights? I also had to point that one out because I didn't read it earlier. I forgot to. But again, negative anti-vigilante propaganda just for some reason shoved into the fucking description of this video? I feel like I'm losing my mind, dude. It's all connected. I think he's a plant. Skyline's a plant. So, dude, I just don't know how you can misread so much and miss so much watching it directly, and then like being a fan of it, and you get it so wrong. It's just, it doesn't make sense. it just, I feel like I'm losing my mind here. Like, so if you're ever wondering why people have such a stick up their ass about vigilantes, thank the Dark Knight, because that's like responsible for 90% of like the misinformation, on top of other people just watching only things like the Dark Knight movie and then like getting that warped fucking terrible interpretation of a vigilante hero as like the defining vigilante hero. It's just it's so bad. Like I said, it's gonna be a whole other video. We'll go through the fucking whole movie. I will milk that shit hard, and I will like debunk most of that shit. Oh god, and the whole like, oh, he gets people killed, and it's like, bro, people were dying before he got involved. What do you mean? Sometimes maybe his actions can lead to somebody getting hurt, potentially. Sometimes people like to bring up the Robins as like, oh, he gets kids involved and all that shit, and I'm like, and they got themselves involved. It's not his fault they were fucking involving themselves one way or the other. At least he had the heart to fucking teach them how to survive. If you ever wanted my fucking take on the whole child vigilante shit, whether or not Bruce did the right thing for Dick, Jason, Tim, and Damien, he absolutely did. I would have given an arm and a leg to have a Bruce in my fucking career. Like, honestly. Would have saved me a lot of fucking headache and heartache. And I still ended up a fucking vigilante hero without a Batman. So, like, that whole, like, that whole debate is fucking, you can debunk that shit right out the gate, alright? He absolutely did the right thing for those kids. And anybody wants to debate me otherwise, we can hop on a Discord or whatever, Zoom call, and debate about it till the cows come home. I will happily debate anything about vigilante heroism. Anything, any of you want to fucking go through these dumbass, misleading, misinformed, half-baked interpretations of what a vigilante is, or a hero is, or a superhero is, I'm more than willing to fucking have, debates about this shit. More than willing. I'll bring receipts. I don't give a fuck. I'm so done with all this shit. And have this system, the American justice system, be the one to criticize us like this. Oh, you know you ain't on the favorable side of the people right now. You know I could abuse that shit, don't you? That's a big part of the reason why you fear us. We're more men of the people than you guys ever could hope to look like. Those fancy suits, those fancy degrees. Your legal authority that allows you to cap a motherfucker, but God forbid I shove a motherfucker to the ground and that's an attempt on his life. And by the way, he's absolutely right. This is, legally speaking, he's in the right. I'm not making the legal argument. I'm making the moral argument that if this behavior is so unethical in many people's words, why would we allow the police to engage in such unethical behavior? Must not be that unethical. And to try to pull out the whole torture card as well, like, Guantanamo Bay much, my dude? Are you serious? You really want to go down that road? Like, y'all didn't buy a private island just so you could legally torture motherfuckers? Like, get the fuck out of here. You ain't any fucking better. Like I said, if you don't go any further, or as far as the cops do with legal authority, fucking, you're justified. Because they do fucking horrendous things to people with that legal authority of theirs. Which is why we have the no killing rule. Despite the fact cops have more than enough of a no, or we're allowed to fucking mow down motherfuckers if needed, when we feel like we needed it, you know? Leave it up to that officer discretion, you know what I mean? Oof. They worry about our judgment. I'm just saying, and we're not the one causing the biggest fucking riots of all time with our fucking behavior. Like, when's the last time you saw a vigilante fucking accidentally kill a black guy? I'll wait. Y'all want to talk that shit? We can talk that shit all day. Talk about my flaws, talk about your flaws, and we can air it all out. Every last piece of it. And at the end, we can see whose body count is bigger. Mine or yours. Bruce's or yours? You want to play that game? We can play that game real quick. How many people get mistakenly identified and arrested? How many people are racially profiled? You know, how many people are like, you have like, you know, excessive force used against them, or, you know, unjustified deadly force against somebody, especially if you're a person of color in America. Like, for this system to come out and fucking try to criticize anybody about how they do law enforcement is just the funniest fucking part of it all. Oh, what if you get the wrong guy? Like half the cops in America? Shit happens, just like they say. You can't all be winners, can't bat 1,000. Can't save everybody, right? God forbid, we ain't even gonna fucking try, especially if we feel like, oh, well, we're doing our job. Barricading the parents away from saving their kids. Technically speaking, we're covered. Legally speaking, we're covered. We don't gotta put our lives at risk for those little bastards. Fuck them kids. Cue to me just snatching one of those cops' guns and running into that fucking school when I'm 7 years old. Please, somebody make an AI video of that. Because that is what would have happened. I'm more than happy and willing to say that. I'd have did it illegally. Suck my dick. And with that all being said and done, that's enough ranting about anti-vigilante propaganda. One of many videos to come this summer. We're talking a whole lot about this in every aspect. Doesn't matter. We'll be doing all videos explaining every type of vigilante, all the different levels of vigilanteism, from basic bitch self-defense to defense of necessity, to PIs and PDs, to fucking political vigilante people who are technically a bit more like Batman in the sense that they will break the law or whatever, to the full-on just assassins that tend to get mislabeled as vigilantes because they did it for a good cause, or at least they said afterwards they did. Maybe there's evidence of that leading up to it. We could make a fucking argument, but, you know. With all that being said and done, and, you know, keep the rest for more videos to come, I hope you all have a fantastic day or night. Please don't be stupid. Please don't die. Please don't do anything crazy, and stick to the legal way of doing this. Do not let people like LegalEagle win when they use this line as propaganda against us, that we either die the hero or live long enough to see ourselves become the villain. I'm 20 years into this, bitch, and I don't feel like going that route anytime soon. So, you know, if you're feeling that way, you know, maybe take a break. Maybe get some you time in. You know what I mean? Maybe talk to a professional. You know, be on top of your mental health and shit. But with that, I'm going to end this very long outro. Because there's so much more I could say. But this video has been going on long enough. So, yeah. Until next time. As always. That was backwards, I know. Be easy.